Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Cousin Blaze, blazing straight out of NetPlay, and I apologize for the sound quality. My headset just recently got broken with the microphone piece, so I'm not able to record my voice unfortunately anymore. So for now, I have to use my phone, but eventually I will get a headset as soon as possible. But anyways, I'm here to give my thoughts or maybe a little semi mini review of Street Fighter V's 4-hour cinematic story. You know, the story mode that should have came on day one, and instead we got short story prologues with mediocre artwork. But I digress. So, with the story now officially out and yours truly have already experienced it, let's get on with it by starting with the positives of Street Fighter V story. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the story and don't want to be spoiled, you should not watch this video. This isn't spoiler free at all. I have to give the story props on the character interaction because there's plenty of it here. Seeing Sean Matsuda and Laura Matsuda's sibling relationship was pretty funny and lighthearted. We get to see some comical moments between Ibuki and Rainbow Mika and some interesting scenes involving Nash, Juri, Urien, and Helen. Rashid for me is the MVP of the story. Before the story, I've already liked Rashid because I fell victim to the meme. But now I can honestly say that out of the newer lineup of characters for Street Fighter V, Rashid is easily the best out of all of them. He has a cool, laid-back personality who tries to avoid every conflict he possibly can, but yet is determined to get shit done when he needs to. He managed to save the world from the Dark Moons and had a pretty emotional moment when he learned of his hacker colleague's death. Honestly, when it comes to the Street Fighter canon, he definitely ranks up there on my list. Rashid, you're a pretty awesome guy, man. I like the fact that you can actually fight non-playable characters, NPCs for short. You get to fight against dolls, Shadowloo soldiers, and I kid you not, police officers. I lost my shit when I had to beat up a police officer at Cammy. Is this Capcom's way of sending a message about police brutality in America? Oh, I'm supposed to be talking about Street Fighter V here. I apologize. But anyways, this was a nice touch to keep the fights more fresh and not too repetitive. Some of these dolls have some pretty cool moves like this sword chick. I'm still waiting on the sword fighter, Capcom, and no, Sodom doesn't count. And please, don't you guys give me that would be too anime excuse when you have Ryu doing a Hadouken to Chun-Li and make it to where it somehow slows down time enough for Chun-Li to escape. Yeah, I think it's about time to get into the parts of the story that I have legit issues with. For the good parts, I stated that there were plenty of character interaction, but for some strange reason, they've decided to not have Nash and Guile interact too much. They barely even interact, and their encounter has been hyped up since Street Fighter IV. They exchange barely any dialogue with each other. It's only when Nash extracts the psycho energy from Abel that the two of them would have a moment.
You forgot this. Nash? Huh?
Yeah, that's really it. I understand that you're in the middle of a crisis that is putting the entire world in jeopardy, but you couldn't have Guile try to talk with Nash more? Why doesn't he ask questions? What makes this worse is that Nash almost didn't even need to come back for Street Fighter V in terms of story. His main goal was to kill Bison. He fights Bison not once but twice, and in the end dies in vain, making his role in the entire story damn near pointless. Now, I've talked with my friend Namaki about this, and he said that Nash absorbed enough psycho energy for Bison to get defeated by Ryu, which actually does make sense. But my problem is that Nash was the central focus of the entirety of the Street Fighter V story canon. Before the story, he was hyped up to have the epic encounter with Bison, so naturally all eyes were going to be on Nash. He has the most screen time in the entire story. Ryu gets a few scenes at the start until he starts his training to tame his Satsui no Hado. We haven't seen Ryu for a good hour and a half after that. Nakali, out of all of the newer characters, is the least interesting, one-dimensional plot device of a character. Jesus Christ, man. Nakali's character is even less dimensional than that of Sho Minasaki's from Persona 4 Arena Ultimate's story.
Shitty pests in this shitty world have no goddamn call to give me their shitty lectures. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get rid of every shred of everything. You really are a piece of shit.
He was only created as a plot device for Ryu to learn how to control the Satsui no Hado. After he dies, that's it. Just complete waste of a character in the Street Fighter canon. Speaking of the Satsui no Hado, we've never got a real explanation on how Ryu was able to control it. Or rather, the way he does it is extremely vague. I know Dazium said that Ryu needs to face the Satsui no Hado and not reject it, but it would have been nice to see what exactly is the answer that Ryu found to learn how to tame it. It only comes down to hints and speculations, and it honestly bugs the shit out of me. And what is by far the dumbest shit I have ever seen in a Street Fighter plot is Ryu using Hadouken on Chun-Li. Of course Ryu is not intending to hurt Chun-Li, but do you mean to tell me that he can use Hadouken to slow down time now? Again, why isn't this explained? This is almost, if not just as stupid as Cassie Cage being able to beat Shinnok because of the green aura that she inherited from her father in Mortal Kombat X. I just find it ironic that Capcom said that they've wanted to fill up as many plot holes and tie loose ends within the whole canon timeline with Street Fighter V. And while we do get some closure here and there that leads up to Street Fighter 3's plot, we ended up with new plot holes and questions. The game's story is a hit and miss. The presentation, character interactions was great, but the aforementioned bad parts is what brings the story a bit down for me. It's enjoyable, I'll give it that. If you're one of those guys who don't really care for Street Fighter story, then you're better off not bothering with the story at all. I understand that fighting games do not exactly have the best kind of plots or stories. Most fighting game stories end up being very convoluted because of the vast amount of characters, and with more characters means a more expanded world and universe to tackle. But considering how we should have gotten this on release, I've expected a lot more from the story. If you care about the lore of Street Fighter, then chances are that you'll find the story to be fun and enjoyable like I did despite its many problems. If I had to give a rating, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, I suppose. I really don't do ratings, but I feel that rating is the most suitable representation of my opinion on the game's story. Give it a try if you're curious enough. If not, then you're not missing out much. Unless you want to play Juri or Urian, so be it. Anyways, this is Skills and Blade signing out, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.